surprised with from the end of last season to today?
Oh, we just started. Man, I didn't know that was the question. You threw me off. Say it again. I'm sorry.
What are you most pleasantly surprised with maybe from the end of the season to where you're sitting today getting ready to start fall camp?
Just their approach to the offseason. I think we had an amazing winter, and then they followed that up with a great spring, and then triple down all the way into summer. So I think my guys are just pretty excited that they believe. They see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they actually are understanding what we're trying to do, and I think they're looking forward to it.
Coach, you had a lot of outside noise in UCLA. What are the conversations been like with him to make sure that doesn't affect him and focusing on being UCLA's quarterback?
He's just somebody that I don't think he can really get rattled. Personality-wise, he's kind of quiet a little bit, but confidence. But he's a quarterback. You got to be able to function with stuff around you. Like turn around and look at him. He has this whole, there's a whole stage of people that want to talk to him. But he's just somebody that he's composed, and I just hope that he just brings that out to the field, and we just continue to grow.
How do you, thought process like just bringing his idea to something you want to do? So many questions about it. The first time you see it.
Oh, to the Big Ten?
Yeah, the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring it there. Just it's time to let you tell your story. A lot of people wrote a book for you and talk to him about it. So I just wanted him to be able to come out here and not for me, because you guys are going to ask me these questions, and now I'm speaking for him. So I wanted him to be able to go out there and really tell his truth.
How important was it to make sure he got this opportunity before the season started, before practices started? That way, all the questions were out of the way.
It's huge. It's huge because now we can just go back to playing ball. Kind of put something to rest and let that go, and now we can go play ball. And I just think that he was looking forward to this opportunity. It was never like I don't want to come or anything. I asked him. He was like, "Yeah, and we're here."
From a national perspective, how do you guys, obviously when the season gets started, the national is going to be some of the similar type of questions. How do you prepare not just Nico, but the rest of the team to stay focused?
I think our SID and everybody, they did a good job of just prepping them for the questions that they thought that they could hear today, and we're probably just going to have to continue with that type of treatment. But, you want noise. You want people to be talking about us, and in a couple months, you guys are going to be talking about us winning games and not the quarterback.
When you look at this defense and how do you see that transition?
That was going to be difficult because, we lost a lot of key talent. A lot of guys got drafted off that defense, but some of the guys that were behind them are excited to get their opportunity. They were able to learn from these guys, and now they're excited for their opportunity. Up front, I was able to bring back Gary Smith, who got injured last season. Keanu Williams got injured last season. These are two guys that are going to be focal points up front, especially with Jay leaving, with Carson Swessinger and Femi leaving. We have some linebackers that can step up, and John Vaughns is one of them. That's why he's here. J9 is another one, and then we have a sophomore transfer from Oregon State, Chisholm. So it's looking good. We're just ready for this opportunity. I'm kind of excited just for training camp. To get out there and see my players play, and I think they're pretty excited for that same thing too, because we just been grinding for a while, and it's time to play some ball. I think just my relationship with him. His dad was my D-line coach in Carolina, so I've known Tino since he was 11 or 12. And seeing how he's evolved as a coach and everything, it just resonated that this is something that I want to get on staff with.
Sometimes dealing with bringing in a quarterback when you already brought in somebody from the portal can be a delicate situation. How did you handle it with Joey? Were you upfront with him, or did you figure this is our business? How did you handle it?
Yeah, once it went public, we talked to Joey before it went public. So he heard it from us before he heard it from the media or anything.
You obviously deal with NIL one thing, but you just talked about got a bunch of guys drafted. How hard is it to hold on to assistant coaches who are producing those players, at this level?
Scotty White was somebody that people across the street were trying to steal from him. So he's a great coach, and he's somebody that we have a personal relationship with. So I don't think them trying to steal him was gonna work, but it was, like you said, when you guys are getting drafted, they're gonna try to steal your people, and I'm just glad that Scotty White chose to stay with us.
DeShaun, going back to you in high school, all the way through to college and the pros, you've always been known as a very genuine person. How does that help you to build those quality relationships with your players?
It's relationships, and I think they can see that I'm genuine, and it just resonates with them, But that's it. I kind of gravitated to coaches that were genuine, and I think I just lean on my prior experiences a lot, and that kind of helps me in this coaching realm.
Do you still reach out to John Fox, past coaches who've helped you, especially now going into your second year?
Most definitely. Talked to Foxy, especially last year right before I got the job. I talked to Kelly Skipper, my running back coach. He's with Buffalo Bills. He was my running back coach at UCLA. I talked to his dad, Kelly Skipper, who was my running back coach in Carolina. So I have a lot of people around me that I can get a lot of information from, and they're willing to help me. They want to see me succeed. So
Going back to the process of Nico Iamaleava, at what point did you get involved? Did you believe that you could get involved? Because when it's first unfurling, he's considering going in, no, he's not considering going in, no, he is now in. Then when he called Tennessee, that he could be going in. What point and who's shopping where? There seemed to be several days there where any number of people involved. When did you get involved? When did you think you were involved?
Once he was in a portal. So whenever he got in the portal, that's when we got involved. But I'd already talked to the dad because I had a son. I had Madden committed to me before. So on signing day, he signed with Arkansas because I had made a change on offense. And so communications was done. And then once he got in the portal, we were able to crank it back up and get him here.
Coach Madden, interesting situation with him. Not necessarily the commitment, decommitment part, but the fact that he only played one game in his high school season, tried to transfer, wasn't able to play again. When you've got a quarterback who's, I guess, doesn't have as many reps at the high school level, what's the development plan for him for this year and then the future right after that?
He's just like any other player. Got to get reps. I'm about to take a wide receiver who's had unfortunate 2 season-ending injuries. So it's the same thing. He hasn't been able to play since his sophomore season. So it's very unfortunate, but we're gonna just find ways to get him reps and continue to have him grow. I think he has a high ceiling, and he's willing to learn and willing to work.
Coach, how would you say you've changed from year 2 to year 1, and how would you say the program's changed from year 2 to year 1?
It's just mostly just being comfortable.
Yeah.
Once you get more familiarity, like this, I've done this before. I've been in the Big Ten before, so all this has been familiar. Spring ball, we did that before. So it's completely slowed down from where it was. But every year you got to grow. There was growth with me in the press conference, and there's going to be growth with my team this season. So you'll be able to see it.
Your running back depth, you quietly kind of added Javian Thomas to the group there. How do you see the pecking order shaking out, at least at the start of camp? Because I remember when you guys brought in Berger, similar situation, summer arrival, but he needed some time to round into shape.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Javian on that timeline?
He's in shape because he was able to do
Went through spring.
Exactly. Berger didn't do spring, so that was a setback for him. But Jet's in a great position. We're excited about him to see what he can bring to the table, and he's a guy that has explosive capabilities, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach, 2-part question here. You guys are going to Columbus later in the year. Being that it's year 2 in the Big Ten for UCLA and some of your players, what's it like showing them new stadium, new places in the Big Ten for some of those guys who've never experienced it before? And then also when you're facing a guy like Jeremiah Smith, How do you approach those elite talents and trying to stop guys like that?
They're looking forward to it. Like I did last year, I'm gonna do the same thing this season. We'll probably go out there the day before early, show them the arena, and then go back to the hotel. And so it's not the first time on game day. Let them get it out. Let them be fans of because these are some iconic stadiums. We go to the Horseshoe. They have names. It's not just a stadium. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for it. I've played in the Horseshoe. So I know it can get rocking and stuff like that, and I know our players are looking forward to these opportunities to play against top talent, like you said. And I wish I could call Chip and just tell him don't throw him the ball, but that's not the case anymore. So
Back to Tino.
Dan Mullen, week 2 here in Las Vegas. What do you know about Coach Mullen and how you prepare against him?
Big time coach. He was in the SEC. Probably shouldn't have been let go or whatnot, or whatever situation happened for him. So I know he's a good coach, and I know he's fired up to get an opportunity to play against a Big Ten opponent like us. So we're going to make sure that they got to match our intensity for that game, but I'm looking forward to it.
What do you respect about Nico's humbleness, his maturity since day one in your building?
He's just somebody that I played with Julius Peppers, and they're very similar. Larger than most humans, but kind of don't want that attention. And I just like that because, he's human, and you can kind of tell that he's a team guy and a family guy. A lot of people kind of want that attention for themselves, and he's not somebody that does that. So it just felt good to know that we got the right type of quarterback.
Back with Tino.
How do you balance the expectations for your ball club, and particularly Nico, as opposed to dealing with reality?
We're still figuring that out, But you want expectations, I don't necessarily want the expectations you guys have put on us, but I want expectations of wins and stuff like that. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. But it's ball, and that's the best part about this. It will reveal itself, and you got to line up each week and play. And I'm looking forward to it.
Back with Tino. You mentioned his personality and your relationship. What about scheme-wise? Were you excited about that he would bring to kind of the offense, and was his backgrounds with quarterbacks specifically kind of important, a driving force maybe in targeting him?
Yeah, most definitely, because he's had a lot of success with one-year quarterbacks. So that's what we're really excited about, that he's taking guys in 1 year and completely flipped it upside down. So we're looking forward to that. I'm not really going to get into the scheme and everything, but I love what he's bringing to the table, and I'm excited about that also. But we're just looking forward to this. I want to just get out there and just show what UCLA football looks like in year 2.
Is this offense kind of user-friendly in that way, where you can take in one-year guys and have them be ready to go pretty quickly?
Most definitely. Especially with him with the quarterbacks, I think it might not have been like that if he wasn't a quarterback coach or has the experience that he has with the quarterbacks. But I'm just looking forward to it because I know that he's excited about this challenge, and I am too.
Coach, how are you feeling about the offensive line and where they are relative to last year, and how do you see kind of the growth progression going? I know some big splashes in the transfer portal. What's your overall assessment of that room?
That was huge. We had to change. I had to flip the room upside down. I had to get guys in here that can protect, really, and keep that guy upright. Because if he stays upright, things are going to go our way. Bringing Julian Armella and Cortland Ford. These are guys that are big-time recruits coming out of high school, and I just like where they're at with their growth with our team. Armella's done a great job because he's been here since, January, and he's inserted his leadership with the team, and Cortland, same thing. So, I wanted to get bigger on both sides of the ball up front, and we were able to do that this offseason.
And what's the advice to Nico, knowing that, he's only got 30 days or something like that to prepare for your first game? I mean, as opposed to a quarterback who would have, maybe gone through the spring with you if you guys still had, Joey Aguilar. What's, I guess, the early advice in those early stages of ball game?
I mean, there's a quarterback looking for a school right now. So it is what it is. It's ball. I played in the NFL. I had a quarterback show up on Wednesday. He started for me on Sunday. So it's part of the game. But I think the number one thing for him is just it's correlating. Everybody kind of runs similar stuff. It's just basically what's the name of this in this offense. And I I think once he does that, we'll be good. But I think the biggest thing is protecting him. If we can keep him protected, he'll be able to showcase his ability. If we can't do that, then it's going to be hard for him to take the steps that he needs to take.
Javian in limited time last year obviously played very well. Is he have the type of potential where if he's at his optimum, he could not only be maybe one of your, if not your best, but one of the best in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I think he was the best back at Cal last season. He had the most yards rushing and yards per carry. I know the other guy might be getting all this stuff, but if you look at his stats, he balled. So I'm excited for that because I think Berger was coming on towards the end of the season. Once he got in shape and everything happened. That Iowa game, I think he was really going to take off, but he ended up rolling his ankle. So I'm excited to see how well they play together and complement each other. But, I feel confident with this two-back system that we have.
Defensively, you need some playmakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the guys that are kind of shaping up that might be able to take on that role?
Some of the playmakers that are taking up that role this year is up front, we got Anthony Jones from Michigan State. Keanu's coming back this year. Gary Smith is also back. Apu's back. So excited about that. That linebacker room is always going to be nice. J9's getting an opportunity to start. John has fully committed to football, so we're excited about that too. Chisholm, the transfer from Oregon State. And then on the back end, we revamped the whole thing. Croy's the only returner. Key Lawrence was a good get for us. We were able to get some corners. Robert Stafford from Miami. Andre from Oregon State. So, we were able to address some positions, and I'm just looking forward to it because I think that these guys are excited to play in the Big Ten, and, they kind of got a chip on their shoulder because they want to show what we can do.
With the new CSC, last 3 weeks since it's been around, has any UCLA players' deals either been denied or that they took too long to approve, so the guy missed out on money because they took too long to get back to him?
Not that I know of. I don't think anything has not been approved, but a lot has been approved.
I realize the guidance changes literally day to day this week. As a coach, for how much you do or don't handle on that front, how do you try to navigate it with the players and your organization of this is going to get a deal denied, we think, maybe, or this could make them take a long time to evaluate, maybe, or not?
I think Wednesday we had some more just marketing meetings for the players, just so they can understand exactly the whole landscape. I think UCLA is just doing a good job, just not with football, but just with athletics and making sure that our athletes are in the right situation with the right marketing teams and stuff like that. Because some of our gymnasts are probably some of our top earners and stuff. So I just think the school's doing a great job of keeping us informed and keeping our players informed.
In what ways have you kind of surprised yourself in terms of what you've been able to do just 1 year into leading this program?
My expectations for myself are pretty high, so it's not really surprised at anything, but just not really surprised.
What does success in year 2 look like for you?
Winning.
Specifics.
How many?
Yeah.
A lot. So this is a performance-based career. It's not, as a player you got to perform. As a coach you got to perform. So I just want to make sure that these boys, they go to class, they graduate, they become good men, and we play great ball.
Coach, Monteval was an unsung hero for the team last year in a lot of ways. How's the development? Hudson Havermill coming off of injury. How's that rehab going? And any hidden gems in the tight end room?
We're excited about Hudson because huge talent. Yeah. He was going to have a breakout season last year if he didn't get hurt. So we're really looking forward to that. He got cleared in June.
Yeah.
And looks exceptional. Really excited about Jack Peterson and Jake Rinda, a transfer from Pitt that we were able to get to. So I'm excited for that, and I have 2 youngsters that we're able to come to. I think the tight end room is about 5 to 6 deep. Looking forward to that.
What's the biggest question about your team in your mind?
Just the team.
Yeah, what's?
I don't think it's a specific position, a specific guy. I think it's just the team itself. Due to the fact that 42 seniors gone, 31 new people, so new coaches. So it's mostly just the team. And I think that's why I'm taking them off campus so we can come together during training camp.
Looking at your roster, I noticed Jacob Usage was listed there. I remember back late in the spring you'd mentioned he'd entered the transfer portal. Does that mean he's back?
Yeah, Busek is back with us. He only was going back because I don't know exactly how it was going down, but I think they were trying to make him have to pay back something. So he was going to go do that.
As far as the time he had at Navy?
At Navy, exactly. So something was going on with that. They didn't let him back in school, so he was like, well, I'm coming back. So he was only going because of whatever happened in that situation.
It's all straightened out.
Yeah.
How nice is it just to have somebody like that who's experienced, especially considering there were some questions about your defensive line?
It's awesome that he wanted to come back. It was tough on him to even come into my office and tell me that he might have to leave, but he was feeling guilty because a lot of his guys that he came into college with were going to serve. And he was like, I'm letting him down. But
Coach, in retrospect last year, you guys had the toughest 4 or 5 game stretch in the country. You had 3 playoff teams. LSU could have been a playoff team. And Minnesota was good. You darn near beat Minnesota, but something turned around. Did you sense it there, or did you always expect the guys to turn it around? Or was there at some point in that stretch where you said, we're not that bad?
I knew we were turning around, but it was the Minnesota game. I think they really understood that we let that one slip away. So I think that was the time when we came back out to practice on Monday, and it was like, okay, this is it. Let's go. Let's stop with all the nonsense. Let's stop beating ourselves. Let's find a way to win these games. And I think that's what we did. But like you said, I never came up here and complained about my travel, who we're playing, where we're going, how that's going, none of that. We're going to line up and play no matter what. This is football. And if you want to play football, then play it. If you want to complain, then complain. But we're never going to make excuses about anything or who we're playing or where we're playing them. We're just going to line it up.
Let me ask you about the Utah game. They've got a quarterback coming in from New Mexico. So when you're getting ready, he's good. When you prepare, do you look at New Mexico film, or are you still looking at, he's probably going to try to fit him into what Utah's trying to do? How do you prepare for a guy coming in and transfer like that?
It's going to be both, And then they got a new coordinator too. So it's we can't even really look at their old film because we don't know if he's going to do that. You know what I mean? But yes, they got a good talent. He's really good, and I'm just excited to be able to go against him. But hopefully, Nico's the best quarterback in the Rose Bowl that day.
DeShaun, on that subject of your schedule last year, Hawaii, LSU, Penn State, Rutgers, Nebraska, that's a lot of multi-time zone travel. I know you said there are no excuses, but similar this year, Northwestern, Michigan State, Indiana, Ohio State. How do you? Is there anything you've learned about how to deal with some of that stuff? And what do you do this year that might be an adjustment so that you're at your best when you travel?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any tips because there's another school that's doing the same thing that we do, so they don't even know any of that. But just don't make a big deal about it. If you don't make a big deal about it, the players won't, and they'll just play. And I just wanted to make sure that they understood, if you want to play in the NFL, you can be in Carolina and have to play San Francisco. You can be in Seattle and have to play the Redskins or play the Dolphins or something. You just got to line it up and play. But, it was tough on us, and we're going to pretty much do the same thing that we did last season because I think that really worked for us. But other than that, you just got to line it up.
Is it harder on the recovery side?
That's the part. Yeah. It's the recovery. So it's that Monday. It's that.
I remember back in the spring, I asked you about your opinion on the idea of multi-year contracts eventually becoming a thing, and all of a sudden, you hear about these recruits, or they're basically being negotiated and that sort of thing. Is there anybody on your team that you'd be able to tell us that are they on a multi-year deal or anything like that, or is everybody on the same terms and all that? I know it's a tricky question.
I'll let you ask me that in LA.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to get to that right now.
All right.
Coach, there's a sense at the end of last year, well played. There's a sense at the end of last year, Gilmer was on the cusp, felt like going to make a huge jump. What have you seen from him in the offseason? You feel like that's there, and then also kind of complimenting him, Jaden Wilson, the speedster out of Arkansas. How do you see vertical speed with the team?
Quasi's one of those guys that he's had probably one of the best off seasons in the program. You know, he's somebody that he just works. He works in the classroom, he works in the film room, he works in the field. He's just somebody that all he knows is work. So I'm really excited about Quasi and seeing it. He's somebody that's really gravitated towards Nico too. So it's pretty exciting. And then Wilson, you know, like you said, he's a deep threat, fast kid, has good size. So hopefully we can get him down the field.
Do you think rev share is going to help UCLA football? Because maybe help level the playing field, whereas last year NIL discrepancies between teams like UCLA and Oregon were huge, right? But now it's more similar.
They just gonna find ways to do it under the table. So it is what it is. I'm not, we just gonna control what we can control. We have our salary cap, and we're gonna do the best that we can do with that and allocate it to our players the way that we want to. And whatever everybody else does, that's what they do. But they're just gonna find other ways to do what they've been doing.
You went 4-2 to finish the season last year. Was there anything you unlocked that you think could help you start this year?
Just continue to motivate them day in and day out. I really like that you couldn't tell our record by watching us practice. So as long as we continue to do that, I think we'll be fine.
Coach, what are your expectations for atmosphere opening night, August 30th against Utah? And have you and Martin maybe talked through some strategies to really kind of enhance the juice, if you will?
It's Los Angeles, man.
Yeah.
Those people across the street had the Heisman Trophy winner. Was that stadium full? You feel me? It's LA. So that's what it is. But if you're rolling, they'll come watch. So I'm just excited for that. Just to get out here. If we put some good product out on the field, they're gonna come. It'll get full. So it's we just live in a city that people prefer to do other things and tailgate on Saturday. But other cities aren't like that. But I know our fans, if we get rolling, they'll be out there.
Do you ever dream about the Rose Bowl being full again like it was when you were playing?
Oh, it will be.
Yeah,
it will be. You guys will see that. You'll see it this season. I'm guaranteeing that you'll see it this season. As long as we're playing the way that we need to play, they're gonna show up.
So no tarps.
No, that has nothing to do with me. But I'm a no tarp type. So yeah.
Nico mentioned that you were really helpful to him during he was navigating all of the kind of scrutiny and hype when he was moving over here, kind of drawing on your own experience. What were you telling him in that time, and how did it help him when he was navigating that?
Just be you. Don't worry. Don't get upset. I know there's narratives being created that aren't necessarily true or whatnot, but don't worry about it. You'll get your opportunity. You'll get your opportunity. It's just weird to me because 1 million kids got in the portal this offseason. Over 1,000. And some for other reasons. We even had coaches say, I think Fran said that his guy wanted 2.4 or something, his receiver. Nobody killed him for that. They're paying kids now. You can get paid. So that's part of it. You're going to get paid. But I don't think that he's making decisions off money. I don't think so.
And obviously, figures are starting to become more public and all that. Do you think it gets to a point where, like, for instance, anybody could look up what Josh Allen's making, right? Like, do you think it gets to that point in college athletics where it becomes that transparent? And is transparency needed?
Transparency is most definitely needed, but I don't think it'll get to that point now. Somebody has to govern it, and who's going to be? Somebody, we don't have anybody that wants to do that right now. So once that happens, then yeah. But
Coach, one area that often gets overlooked is special teams. You've got a great kicker in Martin Pagani. A lot has been made about UCLA over the years with kind of the kick return game, the punt return game. Guys emerging there that you like in those slots, and if so, who?
Yeah, I think we was good on kick returns. We just had 1 year because Kaz left, and that's hard to replace a NFL type returner. But I think this year I have some guys. Jet, like I said, Javion's back there. Cole Martin is another one. Kanye's back. Clark. So Jaden Marshall. So we have some guys that I'm excited about, but Bag is he's a real deal. I'm excited about him. I got bag and cash. That's all money. All money.
Speaking of Mateen, I've seen him in kind of like social settings, and he's always glued to his phone watching his highlights and just kind of analyzing his game. How has he grown over this off season, and just how does he work to like improve his game all the time?
I just like Bag because he's somebody that he takes things serious, you know, and especially with his position, you don't. Sometimes you could feel like you're not part of the team, and I just like the way he carries himself. I like the way he walks around in the weight room with the guys. And, you know, he's like one of the guys. So it's just exciting.
And you mentioned Kanye earlier. Where is he at health-wise? Obviously, he was one of those guys that was kind of banged up. Is he expected to be full go in fall camp? Or?
Yeah, he'll be full go once we start back too.
Was there anything that happened in the off-season at all, or at the end of spring camp with him?
No, just a little bit with some stitches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Rico Flores? What's his timeline?
A little bit. You know, his was a little later in the season.
Yeah.
So he's running, but I don't think he's going to be clear for training camp now. It hasn't been 9 months yet.
Is it still September or maybe October with him?
Rico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
I would say more October.
More October.
What about Carter Shaw?
Back. Carter's
He's back already.
Carter's back. That was just a labor.
Another quarterback you brought in, Pierce Clarkson. What can you tell us about him, and what intrigued you about adding him to your?
Just a dual threat. You know, somebody that can use his legs and his arm. Smart quarterback. Has played, and you know, just a connection with his father too. So that was it.
Coach, I always want to tell you, I saw you play at Tustin.
Let's go. I thought you was from Alabama. You have Auburn.
Auburn. Well,
Okay.
You know, Auburn.
Yeah.
It's the only time I thought I was watching Tecmo Bowl. You had so many long runs. I just want to tell you, I remember, it was great. Another thing, different question. I'm a big fan of Craig Bowl.
Okay.
Great guy. I know he's the executive director now of football coaches. But I think at some point, college football might need a commissioner or something. I think he'd be a great choice. Also, on the job he's doing there.
Yeah, most definitely. That could be a question for sure. But like you said, we need somebody. And somebody that's been in it, you know? It needs to be somebody that's been in it. So, but that would be a great choice, yeah. I can see that.
I'm trying to think. Have we asked you about Tim Skipper yet? I know that.
No.
Okay. I mean, I know you. I remember back when you guys were getting ready to play Fresno State, you basically said you were an honorary skipper. What was, I guess, the process of bringing him in, and what is he going to help you do?
He's going to be in Coach Ken's role that Coach Ken had with us when he was there. So basically like an assistant to me. And this is just a guy that I respect that family so much, you know. They all coach. They've all coached at a high level. And, you know, he's just somebody that's very knowledgeable, and he knows me. So it's just somebody that I know I can trust, and I'm just excited to be able to add somebody with that type of knowledge on our team.
It seems like familiarity with you has been a theme with some of these staff changes, whether it's behind the scenes in the GM role or whatever. Like, how much was that, I guess, planned versus just happening organically?
It's planned, because I need to know that I can trust you, and that's the whole thing. You know, I want to make sure I have people that I can trust. You know, I know they got my back no matter what.
Talking to Martin this morning, we realized that almost half of UCLA's varsity coaches head coaches are former Bruins.
I almost said that up there.
Yeah, and just how important is that to you, like to be a former Bruin? How have you emulated, you know, what you know from UCLA from your playing days?
There's two other coaches that were in school when I was there. You know, Adam Wright and Joanna Hayes. So it's just awesome that UCLA really creates these type of long-term bonds, you know, and it's just something that you can test to in recruiting. You can tell people that, you know, this is a school that we probably have the most head coaches that are ex-players at that school. So, you know, I try to make sure that I tell our recruits this, that, you know, this is a 40-year plan, and I'm literally sitting I'm a walking blueprint of what actually can happen to you, you know. So.
I saw an off-season video of you draining a three-pointer at your home.
That's right.
I mean, I guess what's been the whole thing with recruiting? You know, just as far as was that a new thing as far as bringing the recruits to your home and that sort of thing? And what went into that?
If you're preaching family, you got to make sure that they can see it. You know, and some of the wives or coaches' wives are working. They can't bring their family to the building, so I was like, let's just have a dinner in my house and bring everybody, just so they can see it. You know, I don't like lip service. You guys know what I mean? You guys know me. I don't really like lip service. I want to let them see it, see what we are, let them feel it. So, but yeah, they told me if I hit this jumper, I'm gonna get a commit. And
one take, huh?
Yep, one take. Went up there, hit the J, and he committed.
So how often do you have people over to your house?
So we did that every weekend. We had recruits, so I think it was five weekends. Yeah, I think 3 in May and 2 in June, I would say. Yeah.
Is that something you do as far as like year to year, find a way to change things up on the recruiting side, and how to, you know, tweak your official visits and that sort of thing?
That's really the thing there, because everywhere is up in their recruiting visits. You know? So that was one thing that we wanted to do, just find a way to make it more personable and get the people to be around our families. So yeah.
Coach Cronin prides himself on his barbecue skills at home. Do you man the grill and serve some stuff, or not really?
I try to stay away from when the big guys come around, so no. But if I just have the specialists over, yeah, I'll for sure get on the grill. But O-line, D-line, I'm not even touching it.
Coach, to sort of some of those points, you know, one of the big themes with the 26 class that they shared was not just how special a place UCLA is, but how personal of a touch it felt like recruiting was. I'm sure you take great pride in that. Obviously, you mentioned inviting players over to your home. What were some other things that maybe you did where it felt very personal to the players, and what did you instill in your coaches?
Letting them know, like, bring your families up here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see your families. I want to know them. I want to get to know them. Because if you're preaching family, they have to see. Like, I don't want lip service. Like, they have to see it. They need to feel it, you know? And I think we just did a good job of letting people really feel what we're about. Man, I appreciate you.